You're listening to KZOM, Oleander Public Radio.
Welcome to Innsmouth, stranger.
Hi, I'm Rob Whiten from the Innsmouth Book Club. Join me and my fellow guide John Chadwick as we take you on a fortnightly tour of Innsmouth. We visit places such as the Picture House, the Library and Innsmouth Museum to discuss all aspects of weird fiction, whether it be book, film, music, TV or art. As well as that, we stop over at the Gilman House to have a chat with a resident guest. That includes authors, artists, musicians, in fact Lovecraftian creatives of all types. You can find our free shows on Patreon, and there you can also sign up as a patron, which brings you bonus content, plus a monthly PDF copy of Innsmouth News, which features articles, author spotlights, all the latest news and reviews, and more. You can find us at patreon.com/InnsmouthBC. We hope to see you soon, because remember, Innsmouth isn't just a place, it's a state of mind.
Use MRP 5KM D6 to get 10%. Welcome to the world of conquest. Immerse yourself in the epic battles and strategic warfare with our two thrilling tabletop miniature games. Conquest, The Last Argument of Kings, a rank-and-file war game, and Conquest, First Blood, a skirmish game. What makes these games even more exciting is that you can use the same miniatures to play both. Conquest, First Blood, our gripping skirmish game. With First Blood, you can experience the intense, fast-paced battles on a smaller scale while still utilizing the same meticulously crafted miniatures from your collection. So whether you're a seasoned war strategist or a newcomer eager to embark on your first conquest, the world of Conquest offers you endless possibilities. Gather your forces, hone your tactics, and prepare yourself for the ultimate test of skill and strategy across both The Last Argument of Kings and First Blood. The battlefield awaits. Go to pgttcm.com or the show notes to find out more. Get 10% off all orders by entering code MRP5KMD6. That's MRP5KMD6. That's MRP5KMD6. Get 10% off all books, miniatures, and more. Or go to PGTTCM or the show notes to find out more.
Recording soon.
All right, sounds good. I can see it right there. Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to People's Guide to the Cthulhu Mythos. I'm DB Spitzer. To my virtual right, Gretchen Brooks, David Heath. How the heck are you two doing today?
I am virtually doing well.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thanks.
All right. I'm like Jamiroquai. I'm dealing with virtual insanity right now, so you know.
I just had my birthday last weekend, so I'm still riding that high.
Good deal. Dave, how are you? How's your week been?
It is well. I took some time off and got some things organized and cleaned, and it's been. In fact, you know what? It's been 7 days. Not one of these almost only 5-day weeks. This was a full 7-day week.
Wow. Yeah, one of those 5-day weeks. You might as well spell it WEAK. No, sorry. Yeah, so this week we're talking about Yuggoth. Some of my amigos are from there.
Or are they?
Ew. And then we're going to be talking about Werewolf by Night, Dave's TV special of the week. So, yeah.
And they had me on that special thing because I remember as a kid waiting for that to come on with my whole we'll talk about it. But yes, I love that little special music and this, special thing coming through. That meant we were going to watch something cool that night.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we're talking about Yuggoth, however you want to say it. It's you, it's goth. I don't know. Who wants to get us started on Yuggoth?
Gretchen, do you want to start?
No, well, I was going to say I read all the sonnets or poems, or I guess I guess that's what this is. Wow. What a switch in gears for Lovecraft right there.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind me sort of...
Yeah, no, please.
Real quick. So first of all, he is going to be a poet because he's going to be inspired by Poe.
Yes.
But up until World War II, poetry was the writing form of the masses. Newspapers had poems in it. Families would get together like on Monday night and all recite poems and make something to eat.
No kidding.
Yeah, so absolutely up. And what's going to kind of replace this, in my opinion, popular music on radio. And of course, there's always music, and the country people, would have their square dances and stuff. But the more sort of maybe people didn't have access to musical instruments or before the radio, they would get together and read poems as a family. So a writer was expected to also be a poet. It's not until around after World War II when I forgot what the movement is called, where poetry is for the intellectuals. But yeah, if you're a writer, you were expected to be able to write poems. Howard wrote poems. Clark Ashton Smith started as a poet. Yes, and that's kind of where the money's going to be because newspapers will buy poems. In fact, up till now, part of a tradition of that, JAMA, the Journal of American Medical Association, up till at least a couple years ago, and I think now, have published a poem by either a doctor or a patient in every episode or every issue.
Interesting.
So,
My
sorry.
question is that, okay, so in the Doom that came to Sarnath, right? That's the Dreamland stuff. This has a very similar feeling to it as the Dreamlands works. Am I wrong in that? Are we in the same era?
So yes, and they're going to have the same sort of inspiration.
Okay.
Lord Dunsany, who is also a poet. So yes, this is during his Dunsany period.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I thought it had that same kind of iambic pentameter as the dreams that came to Sarnath, or the Doom that came to Sarnath.
Yeah, and another one that's sort of going to be a sort of a prose poem is the original around the same time, Nyarlathotep.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. Yep. Nope. This is from Lovecraft's more poetic period. No. This is going to be like his earlier stuff because it was his earlier stuff. But
this is a planet, though, right? It's not a specific deity of any sort. I mean, I know there's fungi that come from there. Hey.
Yeah. Yuggoth is not a god. Yuggoth is a place.
Now later, so as Lovecraft, later writers are going to imply that maybe there's a god in the planet. But yes, Lovecraft intended it as a planet.
See.
And he's then going to take everything he did, do a 180, and change it. And then in the Whispers in the Darkness, where he focuses on the Migo, which in the poems, you notice the fungi are more fungi-like. He takes that term and gives it to basically these half-vegetable space crabs or space monsters. So he recycles it later on.
They're like Matango.
Yes.
Yes. And so a lot of people will associate, although Lovecraft never does, this with Pluto. And because it's the 9th planet.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Pluto is going to be discovered like the month after he starts writing this. Or starts writing Whispers in the Darkness.
Mm.
And Lovecraft wanted to be an astronomer.
Yes.
He does not become an astronomer, much like 11-year-old David, after going to Griffith Observatory, wanted to be an astronomer.
Me too, Dave. I wanted to be an astronomer. I had I went to space camp.
Oh, cool. So you got closer than I did. But Lovecraft and I both came with the same realization. We both suck at math.
Oh, no.
And he, besides the fact that he had just lost so much time being sick in high school, he couldn't get accepted into Brown. But one of his first amateur press was an astronomy magazine.
Mm-hmm.
So he's following very carefully this, and they were trying for a while. Astronomers felt there was a 9th planet. So they're following for a long time, looking for this. And they basically discover it when he's writing this. I think it was discovered in February, and he wrote this, started like in January, finished it probably in September.
Yeah.
And I think it was, I want to say 1932, but it could have been later on that.
Yeah.
And so, yes, he's keeping up with astronomy and basically trying to be relevant in the stories, but it's not, like I said, he's going to recycle it. So the fungi of Yuggoth in the poems under the fungi of Yuggoth are different from the fungi of Yuggoth Migos from The Whisper in the Darkness.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, Lovecraft was a huge fan of popular science, popular mechanics, which talked about this missing planet quite a bit. It wasn't like Lovecraft was like figured the science out by himself or anything. It was just in popular science, popular publications of that nature. But no. It was like Planet X, like trying to figure out what was up with Planet X, what's out there, we know there's this gravity, but what's out there, gang? But yeah.
And I'm sorry, it was 1930 that this was written and that Pluto was discovered.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
And so Lovecraft never says it's Pluto. It's a planet that is beyond Neptune and Jupiter, but almost everybody, even in his time, I think, pretty much accepted that this is Pluto. Yeah. Even though he describes it as being bigger and having, it turns out Pluto does have moons, but yeah, so it's not, the way he describes it is not necessarily like the first, like Pluto is, because he just didn't know at the time.
Yeah. Definitely. So, do we have anyone who comes from there? Like besides the Migo, like anyone else? Like I know the Shining Trapezohedron is from Yuggoth.
Yes, and so I believe Colin Wilson uses it as a. Give me a second to double check some things here real quickly, because there is a deity that's going to be associated with it as things go on, and I thought I had that in my notes. So if you give me 1 second, I will double check that. But so there is at least one deity that I believe comes from not from the books, but from the letters that Clark Ashton Smith wrote to Robert H. Barlow.
Okay.
But let me look that up for you. Sorry, I thought I had that in my notes.
Yeah, I have in my notes inhabitants of Yuggoth include the Migo, and at some point in time, Rantagoth, Sathagwa, Gizguth, Sizzle Mignai, and Hizzlequigqualminazah, and possibly Glacky, but unconfirmed.
Yes, and so the Glacky is like a throwaway line that's supposed to be in the Revelations of Glacky.
Yeah.
I do remember that much. But so yes, the deities, and okay, here's my notes. So yeah, the idea that Yuggoth is an outer god actually comes from Russell's Guide to Interdimensional Beings, I believe.
Interesting.
Which completely, I mean, that's fanboy stuff.
Sure.
And yeah, so there, a lot of authors start sort of tagging on to this, because it is, I mean, it comes from the source. Yeah. So the deity that Clark Ashton Smith created is, and let's go ahead and make weird names Lovecraft. It's the Katlak-Ukkaluth, which is the deity that lives there. And like the fungi, they apparently came, it's a way station, not where they're from.
Yeah.
And this comes from basically a note from the family tree of the gods that Smith wrote to R.H. Barlow.
Okay. All right. Yeah, no. I always wondered if that was a Chaosium thing or not, but okay, I understand.
Yeah. So, Richard L. Tierney, who, among other things, he's going to write some of the Red Sonja novels. He takes it from these notes and writes a story about that monster that is basically a bunch of letters that fell out of his alphabet soup can.
Sure.
But yeah, the only real other thing is there's a lot of debate whether things like the fungi and the Migo came from or originated on that planet or basically used it as a staging base. Sure. And as we got more and more convinced that there was no other life in the solar system, writers began basically saying that they didn't originate there. They became, it was a way station.
Gotcha. No, I think it's pretty cool that like folks like Rantagoth and Sathagwa and Gizguth and Glacky and all those other folks, that far out in the solar system. That's pretty cool.
And they're all mad that they're no longer a planet.
Yeah, but I don't think honestly, I don't think they're too concerned about that as much as the fact that they have a place.
Yeah, that's probably true, but I kind of think that's why they're going to wipe out Earth. That's canon. Your mileage may vary.
No, they're just going after Tyson. Neil deGrasse. Although that would be funny, a short story about a bunch of Migo coming to Earth to take out Neil deGrasse Tyson and instead try and like fight Mike Tyson.
Okay.
Yeah. They get their
we can
fungal ears bit off.
We can workshop that.
Yeah. All right. That's just a throw out there for anyone who wants to pick it up and run with it. But yeah. So yeah, I don't know anything else we can talk about Yuggoth. I mean, it's out there.
Yeah, and I think we pretty much covered it.
Agreed.
Yeah. More than some of the writers who covered it did. So. All right. So yes, we will later, some other time talk more about the impossible world or inhospitable world with savaged and ravaged by high winds and all that kind of fun stuff. But yeah, no. Yuggoth, cool place. Literally wouldn't want to live there, but hey, I'm not a space frog, so hey. Up next, we will be talking.
One last thing. One I did forget.
Yes.
Is that there is, because there are astronomers that are fans, there is a region on Pluto called the Cthulhu Macula, which is kind of shaped whale-ish. It's sort of like a continent or whatever, that Pluto's made of, that they named, it's a real thing that they named after Cthulhu because there's some astronomers that are fans.
Very cool. Very cool. I always love seeing that when you look up things named Cthulhu and you'll find from the largest things out in our solar system to the tiniest things in our world. But yeah. Fun stuff. All right, up next, we will be talking about Werewolf by Night. This is a Dave pick, and we know that because it has Man-Thing and Elsa Bloodstone in it. So.
Yes.
We'll be back in a moment.
The Game of Damn, a D6 war game / tabletop role-playing game. Just add 10 to 20 six-sided dice, pencil, paper, rules, and some kit-bashed models. This is the rule set for the damn system you're buying here. A universal role-playing war game. This setting is just a suggestion. Written by DB Spitzer, quick and easy to learn rules. Just go to the show notes for more details. In a world of battle. Large gangs, small armies, strange beasts, and stranger islands it all happens on. People from all over the multiverse, from different times and parallel worlds, have found themselves in a world unfamiliar to them. People from the different backgrounds form small squads, gangs, armies, and maybe an empire. Just as no one knows why they are there, they also have no idea what is the source of all the beasts found all over the island, in the skies, and in the waters. Just as strange, small villages, roads, farms, and more litter these small island nations. People have lived here, died here, raised families on these strange, battle-scarred islands. New people, new creatures, new structures, new islands appear seemingly at random times and in random places. It's not uncommon to see vehicles and instruments of war that look like they were constructed in a dream or nightmare. Tanks with spider legs, artillery made of green crystals, bizarre airplanes, and even weirder. Form war bands, build armies, or go solo and explore. Your possibilities are nearly endless. Go to the show notes for more info. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and all the other places where podcast stuff exists. All right, back to the show.
In Legacy Door, a lurker from space casts a shadow over time.
We opened our eyes upon the human world. We found ourselves lying on an especially yielding bed in a room displaying scattered relics of their shallow past, tied together by more recently produced items meant to blend with the relics. Typical.
A sensitive journalist dreams of unknown lives.
It seems like every time I close my eyes, they get stronger. I can't even say the last time I had a normal sleep, let alone a dreamless one.
An outspoken lawyer defends the suspect in an unspeakable crime.
And that client was Jonathan Strauss, held for the murder of his daughter Abigail and her companion Harrison Reese.
And a stalwart investigator tries to drag it all into the light.
Some of the Reeses and the Strausses have been involved with something that seems to include an obsession with bloodlines and longevity for at least decades.
Legacy Door is a weekly cosmic horror mystery podcast. An ensemble of actors tell a story, also available in paperback, Kindle, and audiobook. Available now.
Hello, everyone. We are back. No, Gretchen, this isn't a trick ad. I'm just we're talking about Werewolf by Night. I won't start talking about anything else, I swear. Okay. Werewolf by Night. This is a Disney feature, a Marvel, I don't know what to call it, other than it's a Disney thing.
It's part of the MCU, and it is basically a one-shot special.
Yes. Yeah, and it started with kind of like a stylized version of the old CBS special or ABC special kind of music. Like there's bongo drums playing and then ta-ta-da-ta-ta-da-da. It ends with music and it has streaky lights with the word special showing up, and yes.
And I remember in the 70s and the early 80s sitting in the whole family watching, and if you saw that coming on the TV, you knew something good was coming.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You also knew that you weren't watching Werewolf or The Incredible Hulk or whatever show you wanted to watch that night.
Or the news or football or stuff that you didn't want to watch.
Yeah, no. And there was probably like a 30% chance that Mickey Rooney was going to be in it.
Well.
That's what it always felt like to me. It's like, oh no, something with Mickey Rooney. But yeah. We have Werewolf by Night TV special. It was on Disney Plus. It's a Marvel comic of the same name. This is a Dave one. Dave, what can you tell us about this?
So, I guess and spoilers, and normally we talk things that are decades old.
Yeah.
This is only a couple years old. And it does include, as you mentioned, one of my favorite Marvel C-list characters, which is Elsa Bloodstone. But it also has Man-Thing and Jack Russell. And it's basically the story of Jack Russell, who is a werewolf, but you don't know that until the story goes, or have read any of the comic books, or seen the title, or seen the poster, or watched the commercials, who is infiltrating a group of hunters, monster hunters, and he is secretly a werewolf, and he is there for the sole purpose of rescuing his friend Ted, who is known more as Man-Thing.
Yeah.
And also showing up is the basically separated daughter of the great hunter Ulysses Bloodstone, Elsa. Now, Ulysses Bloodstone started, I think, in about the 60s, and a lot of the comics he was in were black and white. And it kind of tells that story in that, like, tapestry at the beginning. He was basically like a Neanderthal character who is in the radius of a meteorite, which is what the Bloodstone is, that gives him immortality. And he starts hunting the things that are hunting the nascent human race. Now, real quickly, and I know this is kind of a divergent, Elsa Bloodstone started out originally as MCU's Buffy the Vampire clone. She was blonde, she wears skimpy sort of Indiana Jones costume, and she's got a couple of friends and the Frankenstein monster who helps her go fight mummies and vampires.
I'd way rather have seen that character than who we got.
Well, then, and she kind of gets put on the shelf. And then comes Warren Ellis. And he does what I think is the greatest deconstruction ever of superheroes in a 12-issue episode called Next Wave, where he takes a bunch of C-list superheroes, creates one called the Captain. He was actually called the Captain, and then they always blank it out because it's some sort of dirty word, until Captain America beat him up in behalf of all superheroes named Captain. So it's satire, it's a loving tribute, and it's just a great comic. And he changes Elsa Bloodstone. She goes from a Boston accent to an English accent, gives her red hair. And in the original comic books, she didn't know her father. In this one, she's raised by it. And it was supposed to be a separate universe, but people started using the Next Wave characters. And now she's pretty mainstream. She was on the Female Avengers, the Defenders, had a very sort of intimate, if not romantic, relationship with Deadpool when he was king of the monsters. And she's moved up pretty important in Marvel lore because she's one of the first people who signed the initiative to be a government-sponsored superhero. But I've done an entire episode on her. One of my 5 favorite C characters. And I get that this may not be the best version of her. We'll say that she's one of the few things, I watched it for the first time yesterday in color. Because they ran black and white first. I think she comes off better in black and white than in color. The one thing is about her is that she started out blonde, became a redhead, and is now a brunette. But in sort of tribute of her Warren Ellis incarnation, she does have a streak of red hair. And the reason why she has dark black hair, it just filmed better with the black and white.
Okay. I love this. Yes. Actually, I have a deep affection for this little special. I always kind of gravitate towards the spooky stuff in general. Really? Big shocker. So, the idea of like back when I was a kid, when they would do Halloween specials and things like that, I was always like, that was me. I was glued to the television. They would do like, when Dream Warriors came out, they, or not Dream Warriors, but Dream Master came out, they did like a special on MTV about it, like things like that. So I've always been kind of drawn to these little like darker episode type things. Like I always loved like the Halloween episodes of the regular shows.
Sure.
So with this one, it was just had that endearing quality, and I love Ted. Yeah. Man-Thing is one of my favorites. Like I love Man-Thing and Swamp Thing, but I know they're different universes and all that. But like. Sure. I love that. I love that character and how they had him like in this story. I also really, I know that. So I don't know if you guys know Kirk Thatcher. He played, I think, was it Jorn or something like that? The one that's like Scottish.
Yeah.
What was that character's name? Was it Jorn?
It's spelled that way.
Or Jorn?
I'm not sure if that's how it's pronounced.
Anyways, so that is that's Kirk Thatcher, and he's really like very much ingrained in like the puppetry societies and special effects, and also I don't know if you remember the Star Trek movie where they come back to Earth. He plays the punk rocker on the subway.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So he reprised that role for a later movie, but I thought it was really cute that he's in this, and because he does a lot of work with Chris Walas, who as we know lives in Portland. But yeah, that little bit of trivia. I mean, this is a lot of fun. The story is easy to follow. I love the aesthetics of it. I love the mausoleum with the way the lit up nameplates look like look like the movie theater. I loved all those things. I love the detail of like having cigarette burns in the or like a film frame burns in the film. I just thought there was a lot of like really beautiful little qualities about this.
Yeah, I really liked the artifacts that they included in the film, like artifacts. I mean, by like things that just simply do not exist in digital film being included in this, like stuttering and the little burn things and indicators and it was really neat. I really liked that part a lot. I thought it added a lot to the detail, and I can't imagine watching this movie in color because I feel like
I watched it in color too. I watched it in color and in black and white. I liked it both ways, honestly.
Okay.
And they made a very good choice that they didn't use modern color. They
did like a very saturated kind of coloration, like very high tones of red and green, almost like in a giallo aspect. I hate to use that term, but in that very like saturated, like bombed out color, it was cool. And then of course, like when we're walking into the room, there's the Bayeux tapestry style art along the wall telling the Bloodstone's history. Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
So the movie, I felt that they kind of mimicked for the color would be Die Monster Die.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
So so instead of a 30s movie, it becomes a 50s movie.
Totally.
Which works. With the one exception, besides I liked Elsa better as black and white, I thought the werewolf transformation and I thought the werewolf scenes were better in black and white.
Agreed. And also I thought Jack Russell's makeup looked better in black and white than it did in color.
Yeah. Okay. That makes
sense. Or scarification or whatever. I think he said it was makeup that he was doing on his.
Yeah, I think that's Day of the Dead makeup.
Yeah, I mean, it was a skull. Like, it was to look like a sugar skull style, but I liked how it was very, very lightly placed. And so it made it kind of, made it gorgeous, like, in my opinion.
Okay.
No, absolutely. And I think it was a strong move to make it an Hispanic character.
Mm-hmm. And is he normally not Hispanic?
No, he's WASP, Caucasian. And I heard that the reason why was completely based on the actor.
Oh, okay.
They just felt that this was the best choice, no matter what nationality he is.
Okay. Yeah, it's a fun movie. It's a fun little. What is it, like 45 minutes long, an hour?
About 50, I think, 50 and change, and that works. Yeah. I think anything longer just would not carry on. So I think it works to its advantage that it is so short, and also, I think one of its advantage is it's directed by Michael, I always mispronounce it, Giacchino, who is predominantly a musician and a composer. Okay. And you can see that. You can see that in the work, that it has almost this lyrical sort of pacing. But I think that this was right about when the MCU was beginning to get dull and out, and the fact that they said, okay, we're going to take superhero characters, but we're going to make it into a classic horror movie, was a good way to branch out.
And it's always interesting for me to see how people use like tertiary characters like Man-Thing. It's like they're never going to have Man-Thing in a Disney thing. They're, the Marvel universe, never going to see it. But yeah, no. I was shocked a couple years back when people were like, "No, Man-Thing's in a thing," and I'm like, "Oh, cool for Ted, awesome." And also, this is more like DB shit here. I like seeing that Man-Thing uses a French press for like coffee. It's like, yeah, Man-Thing's fancy.
Yes.
Me too.
And that's one of the things too. He is more human than the human.
Sure.
The monster hunters have, a warning to those who hunt monsters, least monsters you become.
Yeah.
You stare too long into the abyss stares into you. That is what they've become. They say they're still here to save and rescue mankind, but they're there for the kill because they're willing to kill themselves.
Yeah.
Or kill each other.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, no. I was when the rules for the monster hunting competition came up, I'm like, wait a minute, they're going to kill each other too? It's like, that seems kind of
stupid.
Yeah, it's like if you're like celebrating monster hunting, you don't want to get rid of monster hunters. You want to get more monster hunters. It's like, it seems kind of self-defeating, but I don't know. The Bloodstones don't seem like the greatest family.
I mean, you got to admit that talking corpse thing was pretty fun, though.
Yes,
that was fun.
Had a very Guillermo del Toro Hellboy kind of vibe to it.
Yes, definitely.
Steampunk and
mm-hmm.
So here's sort of a deep dive.
Okay.
Sure.
In the comic book, Man-Thing's wife is Ellen Brandt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ellen Brandt, as a named character, has appeared already in a Marvel property.
Oh,
she is one of the extremist virus human bombs in Iron Man 3.
Oh.
So, is this the same Ellen Brandt? Or do they just reuse the name? Or, headcanon time, is that Jax, says it when he sniffs Elsa, it worked once before. What if, and I'm just throwing this out, there's nothing official, what if that's what bonded Ted and Jack? And after AIM took Ellen away, they bonded as sort of this grief and lost. And that's why Jack sort of took over as Ted's guardian, protector, person who rescues him.
Huh.
That is not on any official Disney or Marvel, but
no,
I find it hard not to go there.
I like it. Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that they leave up, and I hope that they kind of show later. Why did Elsa leave? What was that other time that it worked? How did Ted and Jack meet and become so close that they consider each other family?
Mm-hmm.
They left a lot of things open that I hope we see future.
Yeah, no. Knowing that Man-Thing exists in the Marvel Universe is enough for me. But yeah, no, I'd love to see more with these two. And other, like, I don't know, I don't want to say like freaks, but like people who don't necessarily fit into the easy categories of Marvel or like tertiary characters and such. I'd love to see more of that coming up. But we have to wait for Marvel to get super boring again, where they're willing to make risks. But
already is boring to me.
Yeah.
Ayo.
Nope. I get that. I was just using Dave's terminology from earlier. But yeah. No. When I feel like every once in a while Disney will make a leap And sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. This was one of those times that it was good.
Yeah, I think this one paid off. It definitely paid off.
Yes. Yeah. One of my favorite parts of Phase 4 of the MCU.
Absolutely.
All right.
And I would so like to see, though, a next wave.
Oh, yeah.
I'm throwing that out, Disney.
Yeah, Disney, if you're listening.
Yes.
So next week, we've got Yugs and TBD. Did we ever figure out what TBD was?
I believe it's Dagon.
It's Dagon.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about Yugs, not Uggs, and Dagon next week. So keep your ears peeled for that. And we'll see you next week, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us and being a part of PGTTCM. If you want to check out back episodes, if you want to learn more about the show, go to pgttcm.com. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on YouTube. We don't really do X, Twitter, whatever, but we have a backlog there if you're willing to, just want to see what we were writing about 2 years ago. So thank you again so much. And thank you to the two coolest people I know, David Heath, Gretchen Brooks. Thank you again so much for being part of the show and helping the show do its thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything that you two have been watching or into lately that you want to let other people know about?
Well, let's see. Last night we had lunar eclipse, and my friend Kelly just released his new novella, Werewolf book. Actually,
oh, cool!
It's kind of worked out. Funny
nice.
Story.
And I haven't seen it yet because it just dropped the day we're recording this. But if you like Marvel and you like horror, Agatha All Along is just dropped today.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm gonna watch it tonight.
Yeah, no. What's her name? Catherine Hahn.
Yes.
No. She's awesome. She's awesome. I'm gonna probably check that out sometime later this week. In the vein of werewolves, I want to recommend TV on the Radio's music video Wolf Like Me. It's cool. A cool, fun, modern retelling of werewolves and party people, and it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it.
And okay, I'm gonna say something. And I love that. I love them. I'm so sorry that that their lead singer passed on way too young. Mm-hmm. That said, one of the few covers I like more than the original. Check out Laura Lynn's copy of that song.
It's good. It's good. Yeah, but I love the OG myself. But yeah,
it's a toe tapper.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think of anything else that I'm like into these days, but I've just got so many projects going on that I don't have a chance to really watch TV unless it's for
HP Lovecraft Film Festival's coming up in a couple weeks.
Oh yeah, and I have the. If you're in Portland, Oregon, or in the Pacific Northwest, go to the Underhill Haunted House at the Memorial Coliseum in Portland, Oregon. I'll be there selling my goods and throughout the month of October. So yeah, that's what I've got going on coming up. But yeah, we've got the HP Lovecraft Film Festival. I'm sure we'll all be on at least one panel. I forgot to send stuff in this year, but yeah. All right. Anything else we have to say to the folks out there?
See you next week.
Got it covered, yeah.
All right. Thank you all for listening. We'll see you next time. This has been PGTTCM, and in my opinion, this has been a good episode.
Agreed.
Okay. We'll see you all next time, and bye.
Bye.
AnyCubic Cobra S combo. Compared to the mainstream 3D printer on the market, AnyCubic S1 is faster. The speed has improved 12 times. The Benchy can be completed in 15 minutes, that's 600 millimeters a second. Fully enclosed construction using the Cobra OS system and cooling system minimizes vibrations and enhances the responsiveness to improve the quality of printing. AnyCubic Cobra S features a full metal hot end capable of reaching a peak temperature of 320 degrees. Quiet mode is as low as 44 decibels while printing. 44 decibels, that's as loud as the library, or bird calls, or a forced air furnace. Equipped with built-in camera to view the printing process. Finally, use my link to save $120. Get the combo and be able to print in 4 to 8 colors. Fast and easy to use. If you have a hobby or a business, you'll find hundreds of uses for your AnyCubic printer. Use the show notes to find out anything you want. Get anything you want from AnyCubic. Thank you, and back to the show.